My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
We acknowledge the traditional owners of country throughout Australia and recognise their continuing connection to land, waters and culture. We pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Hello there and welcome back to This Song Is Yours. I'm Simon Fink, your host, and I'm thrilled to have you join us for episode 316. You're in for an absolute treat today as we have indie rock legend and frontman of Wilco, Jeff Tweedy, stopping by to talk all things Cousin and Wilco's forthcoming Australian tour. In this episode today, we're honoured to have the frontman and New York Times bestselling author join us to discuss the forthcoming visit to Australia for Wilco. We're also going to discuss why it took so long for the band to come back to visit us and some of their favourite memories of touring the land down under. We're also going to delve into the origins of their brand new record Cousin and how they got Kate LeBon on board to help produce the Grammy Award-winning band's 13th studio record. Plus, as Jeff has recently released his new book, World Within a Song, which kind of addresses and talks about all his listening habits, we asked Jeff what's currently on high rotation for himself. I can't believe we got to add Jeff Tweedy to our list of indie legends that we've had on the podcast this year, adding him to a very incredible list that includes Wayne Coyne and Connor Oberst. We want to thank Jeff very much for his time, and we also want to say a massive thank you to Ali from House of Webb for her help with today's episode. Before we get into it, make sure you subscribe to This Song Is Yours on your preferred podcast platform. Stay tuned for our latest episodes by following us across social media. All the details can be found within the show notes for today's episode. So let's not waste any further time, cousin. Here's our chat with Jeff Tweedy from Wilco. I'd laugh until I died if it wasn't my life. If it wasn't me in the mirror. Please welcome to This Song Is Yours, Jeff Tweedy from Wilco. Jeff, thank you very much for joining us today. I do appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
My absolute pleasure. I'm very, very excited, and I'm not just saying that simply because I am in the presence of yourself. I know that there's a lot of people excited about Wilco coming back to Australia next March. It has been, I think, a while between drinks. I think it's been maybe just over 10 years.
That's unacceptable, but I do believe that's true.
Look, we will gladly take any visit, regardless of the time between. We'll gladly take a visit from yourselves. Are you guys looking forward to coming back down and playing some shows?
Very much so. I mean, it really does feel like a strange oversight, considering how much we enjoy being in Australia, that it's been so long. But, I'm sure that the world is to blame for some of it, different circumstances and logistics and things like that. But yes, to answer your question, we're thrilled we're going to be able to come back.
I know that there's a lot of people excited. I think myself and some friends, we went to, I think, one of those last shows, maybe in 2009 or around that. And as you said, I believe the pandemic does give us a few years grace of where that time has gone. Yeah. Do you have any key memories of those kind of the last few tours in Australia?
We have a lot of friends and people that we've worked with over the years in Australia. So I usually think of the people when I think about, I like getting out and walking around. So I think of the cities also, but we just always have a lovely time when we're there. And, I'm looking forward. I was disappointed though. I mean, last time I was there 10 years ago, Wilco was there 10 years ago. And then, I was there with my family, and my band, my solo band. more recently than that. And all the flying foxes were gone. And the botanical park by the water in Sydney. And I was disappointed in that.
Look, that's very fair. I think that we are known in Australia for a lot of our flora and fauna, and I think when we don't deliver, we're not really selling it, are we? We're not doing a great job.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I was like, plenty of spiders.
Yeah, exactly. I would love to discuss, I guess, because it has been a while between tours, there's a few albums for us to be able to kind of catch up on, which is really exciting. I think we've got, obviously, this year's Brilliant Cousins. There was Cruel Country, I think Schmilko, Star Wars. How do you plan a set list when you've got quite a few records that you're going to try and have a little bit of coverage on, I guess?
Well, it's not easy. It's really hard to adequately represent every record at this point for in one show in particular. But we'll probably focus on the last few records and then the highlights. Probably play a fair amount of Yankee Hotel Foxtrot because it was the 20th anniversary last year. So, but Wilco keeps almost all of the catalog alive in some way. We really don't ever stop playing any portion of it for very long. Hopefully we'll be able to put together a set that's satisfying to the audience. But for us to be engaged and excited, it probably will lean a little bit into Cruel Country and Cousin, and then we'll make sure that we're hitting the right spots to scratch the itch of people that haven't seen us in a long time.
I can very much appreciate that with this brand new record. And congratulations on Cousin, by the way. It is a brilliant, brilliant record. I know that this was was it written over a few years or it was recorded over a few years compared to Cruel Country?
Well, it depends on, how you want to look at it. I mean, I don't know if I wrote the song Pittsburgh for the album Cousin, but the song Pittsburgh has been around for like about 10 years or something like that. But the bulk of the record was started before the last record, before Cruel Country. It was started in 2019 and was kind of sidelined when we got back together after the pandemic to record. We wanted to record something that was a little bit more freewheeling and live in the studio, just because it felt so good to all be sitting in the same room together again. You could say that it took us years to put together Cousin, but there was a little bit of a detour in there.
My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
If you're taking care of a senior loved one, then it can be hard. Remember, it's okay to ask for help. There's a reason why 29 million families have turned to Care.com. Experienced senior caregivers can help with everything from meal prep to taking your loved one to doctor's appointments. And every caregiver you hire is background checked. So important for peace of mind. Find full-time, part-time, or even occasional help that fits your family's schedule and budget. Get the support you need with Care.com.
100%. With Cousin coming out now, I think it was the first time in maybe, I want to say 12 years or so, that I think that you've worked with an outside producer who was the incredible Kate LeBon this time round.
Yeah. I mean, you could even go back as far as A Ghost is Born to find somebody that is an artist in their own right with, Jim O'Rourke we worked with Jim on Yankee and A Ghost is Born and a little bit of Sky Blue Sky even. I think we've obviously worked with other engineers and producers and things. But for the most part, the band has been self-producing, and we've made a lot of records. Everybody in the band makes a lot of records outside of the band. So it's not something we've really eagerly gone out to find another person to put into a studio already full of 6 guys that make tons of records, But this was more really about Kate and about getting to be friends with Kate personally. My friendship with her and the just the idea that it would be great to have another sensibility in the studio, having just a different energy to the producer in a lot of ways. It's kind of an unrecognized part of what a producer does, but you can't really play music in a room with somebody else without them being the audience. And then when you think about an audience, you're playing for somebody, you're trying to reach that person, connect with them. And I just like being around Kate so much. I thought it would be so much fun to try and reach her in a way that felt satisfying to her sensibilities. And at the very, that's the very base of that relationship. And of course, she came to the project much more just fully prepared and hands-on and really exciting ways beyond just being an audience. But that was like the initial thought was, I wonder if she'd want to hang out and be around, helping make a record.
Well, she's done an excellent job, and I think that it's definitely it hasn't like changed the game in any kind of like massive sense, but it does kind of, there's little, I feel like, intricacies on this record that you can hear that might have her influence if you're also a fan of hers. So I think that you did an excellent job in picking a producer, and she's done an excellent job in doing so.
Thank you. I agree. I think it still sounds like a Wilco record, but with a different lighting director.
100. That's a perfect way to articulate it. I know that we only have a little bit of time today, so I very quickly just want to touch on your brand new book, World Within a Song. It kind of talks about, your own listening habits and why songs resonate with people. We're primarily a songwriting podcast, and we did start out as something similar in terms of listening to what people listen to and their soundtracking habits. I kind of wanted to end today, Jeff, with what are you currently listening to? What is currently taking your fancy? And I guess why is it resonating with you?
Oh, gosh, I mean, it's really kind of weird to say this because I'm not a big podcast guy, but there's a podcast called The History of Rock Music in 500 Songs. Mm-hmm. Have you heard of it?
I've heard of it. I've not listened to it, but I have seen it.
Well, it's taken up a lot of my time lately. It's really pretty extraordinary. I'm kind of surprised that I learned so much in every episode because it is the one thing that I thought I knew a lot about, having read a lot about rock music my whole life. So it's a little weird to say a podcast, but inevitably when you listen to episodes of that, it reminds you of a dozen other songs that you want to go back and listen to. But to give you something that's more current, I'll say, let's see, looking at my phone, it's not new, but there's a Baden Powell, Images on Guitar. There's a great record. There's an artist named Chris Gruda who plays jazz standards, but on a steel string guitar, but they sound like they're recorded on his iPhone or something. But he has a record of Thelonious Monk covers, which I think is really, really fantastic.
Very interesting listening habits, but I think definitely, I'm definitely going to have a bit of a look and check it out. That last one myself, especially, that sounds very interesting. Jeff, thank you so much for coming onto the podcast. And once again, congrats on Cousins. It is a fantastic record, and we do look forward to seeing you in March.
Can't wait. Thank you. It's great talking to you.
If you're taking care of a senior loved one, then you know it can be hard. Remember, it's okay to ask for help. There's a reason why 29 million families have turned to Care.com. Experienced senior caregivers can help with everything from meal prep to taking your loved one to doctor's appointments. And every caregiver you hire is background checked. So important for peace of mind. Find full-time, part-time, or even occasional help that fits your family's schedule and budget. Get the support you need with Care.com.